So, it's been a couple of months since iRacing updated the tire model on the Wing Sprint car, and now today we got an update to the rest of it. So, how'd they do? Well, in today's video, we're going to be covering that, and I'm going to be breaking down some of the interesting things that I've already discovered with the updated car and the things that, most importantly, I'm excited about. So, stick around. What's up, everybody? Thomas Brandon here. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. And like I said, we're going to be taking a look at the Wing Sprint car here in iRacing because we got an update today in the Wing Sprint car. Now, really quick, if we actually look at the stuff that was updated, and let me pull up the notes here real quick, you'll see here on the notes that the engine power and torque have been increased, which is a very good thing. Tire parameters have been adjusted slightly. The aerodynamic parameters have been overhauled and improved, which was it's really big difference. And you can see here the changes resolve in pitch sensitivity. All wing sensitivities have been adjusted to better reflect real-world setups, and then the wing angles have been adjusted, and then a couple of other things. All right, so that's the notes on it. I gotta say the driving that I've done so far has been really good. I gotta tell you, right from the jump, iRacing got this right. They did. In my opinion, they got this. They got it right. When the new tire model came out before season 4, the season that we are currently in, I told you that it felt good, and I thought it was definitely a step in the right direction. I really liked it during the live stream that I did. Now, the non-wing sprint car, which also got a new tire model and an updated, rear end geometry and stuff like that. That car, in my opinion, is the most accurate dirt car, like, on the sim. Like, it really is. Like, that's how a non-wing sprint car should drive. They're really driven off the right rear. It's completely throttle dependent. I basically had to kind of relearn how to drive that car compared to the way that we used to on the old tire model. And people that I know who've actually raced those cars, like, yeah, this thing's, it's pretty close. Now, are the setups 100% accurate? No, they're not. Of course not. It's a sim, right? I mean, there's only so much that we can do. But for the most part, that car, that non-wing sprint car, is just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Like, they knocked it out the park, in my opinion, with the non-wing sprint car. The wing car left quite a bit to be desired. Now, first, before I talk about the negative, let me talk about the positive that we had with the previous new tire model. You could actually feel the track. That was a huge thing. In my opinion, the old version of the sprint cars, I was done with them. I was tired of them. I didn't even want to race them anymore. I mean, keep in mind, SSR was built on the back of the wing sprint cars, right? Like, that was one of the big things that helped build this business. And so for me to just be like, dude, I'm done with these things. I don't even want to drive anymore. Like, that's saying a lot. And that's where I had gotten with them. I just thought they were lifeless. I thought they were boring. I thought they sucked. I really did. Like, I was just done with the wing sprint cars. I wanted nothing to do with them. When the new tire model came out, that was the first time in a long time that I was actually like, these are kind of worth driving again. That being said, like we saw, well, it wasn't as bad with the first version of the new midget tire, but similar to that, there was a step in the right direction, I thought, but there were still some things that were left to be desired. The car didn't pull off the bottom. Running the bottom, you almost had to like build a setup and like sell out for the bottom. You had to roll the bottom and drive it like you were running a NASCAR in Martinsville. Like, that's kind of how it was. It was pretty ridiculous. The racing action, when the track was right, you could have some really fun racing because it was really close. It kept everybody really close, which in one sense is good because it makes it exciting and fun, but in another sense, it really narrowed the skill. Now it feels like that skill gap's been widened back out, which is a good thing because that's what we should see, right? Pros are pros for a reason. Okay, so I think that's a very good thing that we've seen with this new model. Now, with the stuff that I liked previously and the things I didn't like before, what did iRacing do this time around that has improved it? Well, it's so much better. So for one, they redid the stuff like I named off, and you can still feel the car. The car still has life to it, which is awesome. In fact, it feels like it's got more life to it. The front end feels much more lively now, like it should on a wing sprint car. These cars have a lot of action to them, right? Not as much as a non-wing because these have the wing, so they're sucked down, but they still have a lot of action to them. Go to YouTube and do a cockpit view, you know, ride along, you know, in a 410 sprint car, right? There's 10,000 videos of it on YouTube. Go ride along with it. You'll see those things. It's not a smooth ride. Like, they're on the wheel for a reason, right? Like, they're working that wheel for a reason. You get that now. You get that feeling. It's just got a lot more action to it. It's a lot more lively. You can still feel the cushion with it. You can feel the tire grip up. You can feel when it's spinning. Those are incredible things to be able to feel, right, when you're talking about just a wheel. Now, I have a butt kicker, but I haven't even used my butt kicker with this new version of the sprint car yet, because I know most people don't have that, right? Most people don't have a butt kicker or a motion rig or anything like that. They've got a force feedback wheel. And so I wanted to just test with this so I could basically relay the information that I'm getting to the biggest number of people possible, right? Because most people are just going to have a force feedback wheel. You can feel all that stuff. That's incredible, okay? Like, that's a really hard thing to do. Like, when you really think about that, that's a really hard thing to do. Like I've said before, for all the complaining that we, you know, and I'll include myself, for all the complaining that all of us in the iRacing, on the iRacing sim, that we love to do, all the stuff that we love to say and all the crap that we love to talk, it's incredibly difficult to do what they're doing, okay? I mean, it really is. Think about going to a racetrack, right? Watching a sprint car, right? Laser scanning it and then going, okay, I want you to take what that car's doing and turn it into ones and zeros that a computer can understand, right? That's difficult. That's hard. So for where we're at with what we have now, I think it's incredible. I really do. Now, what are some of the noticeable changes, right? Because one of the big things that we heard, I've actually gone out and already done an official race in this. One of the things that we were hearing people talking about setups and stuff like that, I'm going to cover some of that stuff with you guys, because the first thing that you need to understand is that the setups are much more realistic now. In fact, if you look at iRacing's setups, the ones that they built, and I've been running a lot of them, just kind of seeing, you know, because I haven't had a bunch of time to build my own right now. You'll notice that they're very realistic setups. In fact, if you were to go online and look up like Maxim chassis or Eagle chassis or Triple X chassis, right, and look at their baseline setups, you're going to notice a lot of similarities with these. These are real world setups, okay? They are. These are setups like we used to run when I was tuning sprint cars, okay, in terms of baseline setups, right? So the setups are far more accurate now, which is just incredible. Another thing you're going to notice is that the nose wing is it's 30 degrees on all of the iRacing setups. You want it to be 30 degrees, in fact, which is another really cool thing. The top wing now goes down to 20 degrees. That's another thing that they do in real life, is they really flatten out that top wing, especially at certain tracks, especially on the bigger ones. The nose wing, we always ran that parallel to the down tubes, which is usually around 30 degrees. We never like put it at 22. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't adjust the nose wing really in sprint car racing. I mean, there may be like a few situations, but for the most part, you're not really tuning the nose wing. The nose wing's job, in a sense, is literally to just keep the front end like on the ground, and then it's to literally get the air up onto the top wing. Like, that's the whole purpose of that nose wing. The reason we would always run it parallel with the down tubes is if you were to look at the way that the air would be going up the nose wing and then over the top wing, that's why. It's basically, you want it to be like straight with each other. In most tracks, not all, in most tracks. That is a big thing. I've tried different nose wing angles, and the stability in the front end is different. It does give you a different feel in terms of acceleration and speed and stuff like that. It's slight. It's obviously going to be differences in it, but it's really slight, and that's a good thing. That's what we want, okay? When we talk about setups on stuff like that, setups should always be based on the setup that is the most comfortable for you, that is the most stable and comfortable for you, so you can go out and get the most out of the car and the most out of your driving skills. That's the point of a setup. It should not be, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z because that's the only way to be fast. Okay? That's stupid. That's not real world. That's not sim. That's arcade. All right? And so we've kind of gotten away from that, which is, I shouldn't say kind of, we've gotten away from that, which is really, really nice. The whole jacking up the front end, you don't have to do that no more. When the race that I ran, I put a turn in both my front torsion bar stops because the track was slicking off, and you could feel the difference. Had I gone you know, 3 turns, like jack the front end all the way up, I got to tell you, it makes the front end kind of dance. It makes it a little bit, you know, twitchy. It wasn't super comfortable for me. Now, there's people out there who might love it, and there might be races where that's the thing to do. But in terms of all the time, I don't think you have to do that anymore. I really don't. When I ran the official race today, Shay was in, me and Shay ran it together. We were in the Discord channel together. Shay won the race, dominated it, was running. He put on a very like simple basic setup, you know what I mean? It wasn't like something where the front end's jacked up and the rear end slammed down, all that other crap they did is basically straight up, you know, base setup, and then we just made some changes to it. Like I adjusted my shocks a little bit, added a turn here, took out a turn here, changed the wheel spacing, right? Like moved the wing back. That was it. He did, you know, something similar. So what you're going to find, I think now, is that the setups, if you can, like they say, you know, in the real world, if you can roll it off the truck good, if you got a good base, you're going to probably have something that's going to be pretty good throughout the night, which is the way that it should be, right? When we were racing in sprint cars in real life, right? When I was mechanicing and crew chiefing and stuff like that, setting up sprint cars, if we showed up to the track and we were good in practice and qual, like, for the most part, we were good the whole night. Like we weren't having to, right? We weren't changing our front bars and our rear bars, you know, every session, right? We weren't dropping an inch of stagger and moving the right rear in a half an inch and the left rear out a half an inch every single time there was a race on the track. Like we weren't having to do that. It was turn in the right rear, turn out of the left rear, move the right rear in a little bit, maybe drop a half inch of stagger, maybe the left rear shock needs to be adjusted. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that now. I really do. And that's a good thing. It really is. Okay. So, that all being said, all right, let's actually take a look at a few of the things that will actually run a few laps. Tire pressures, you guys, you're going to notice low tire pressures. The tire pressures are much more accurate to what we would run in real life. And it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. When I ran the official race at Charlotte in the 360, I qualified and ran my heat race with 7 in the right rear, 5 in the left rear. And the car, the left rear just felt a little too soft. It felt like the car was kind of like pinning and snapping. I added 1 pound to the left rear tire. Made a huge difference. So, you know, a pound here, a turn there. I think these adjustments are going to have much more an effect now on the car. And like I said, that's a really good thing. It is. Okay. It really is. You should not have to have a setup that when you qualify and get to the feature, they look like they're from 2 different tracks. Like that should not be the case. And so I think we've gotten away from that, which is a really, really good thing. All right, now, a couple things really quick, because I'm sure a lot of you out there are probably wondering this. I know I've already been hit up by a few people just here in SSR from the Insider program. So in terms of your setups, the setups that you were running on the previous version, you can run on this. You really can. There are a couple of changes that you might want to make, but for the most part, you can run them. You really can. The top wing being able to go to 20. So obviously, like this week for the insiders, you know, we would run it at, on the previous model, we would run it at 24 in the feature, right? So, you know, probably make it a little bit flatter, maybe 23 like iRacing has here, 22, heck, maybe even 20, right, if you want, but then, you know, go 20 and move it back some. Tire pressures, like I said earlier, you know, adjusting tire pressures makes a difference. Other than that, it's all about comfort. It really is. And you guys, that's the thing. It really is. Whatever allows you to feel the car best, like, do it. And then go out and run it. That's all that's going to matter. If you're somebody who likes the front end to be super freaking stiff and every time it hits a bump, you know what I mean, it feels like there's no suspension up there, like it's rigid, then run that. Stiffen up the front end and run it, right? If you like somebody, you know, you like the car to wing over more, or, you know what I mean, to rotate super easy, like it on the loose side, set it up that way and you can run it. And guess what? You can be just as fast as anybody else if you can control the car and be consistent. Like that's the key. That's really the key. Like I said, I've done quite a bit of testing already. I obviously have a ton more, but in terms of your setups and stuff like that, the things that you were running before, you can still run them. They might need a couple little tweaks, but you can still run them. Don't think that you need to go out and like just completely redo everything, because you don't. Now, one thing to note, even when you like, so if I open up a setup from Eldora, right? This is from last season, Insider program last season. The nose wing's at 30. We never ran 30 wing in the Insider program. Never. did we run 30 wing on the nose in the insider program. But for some reason, every setup that you open up, the nose wing is now at 30. Okay, so make sure you check that. All right, you might want to move it down. I think running 30 feels amazing, but you might want to run something else. Okay, so whatever it is, just check it. All right, but let's go turn some laps. So we've got Charlotte up. It's just afternoon, default weather, 50% track. I just threw up something simple. Okay, we're not trying to set land speed records or anything like that. Now, one thing to know, and we're in the 360. One thing to know, when they said that they increased the power and torque, they did. If you remember on the 360s before, old tire model, the old model that we had, a few months ago to the one that we've had this last 2 months, whatever. If you remember, for the most part, like starts, restarts, even when you were in the slick, like if you wanted to go, right, like you could just hit it and go. Now, if you like just stomp on the throttle, this thing's actually got enough power to where you might break it loose or something. If you're doing a restart and you're going like this, and then all of a sudden you hit it, like it'll snap loose on you. 360, that wasn't really the case before. So they have definitely added some more power to these. I drove the 410. It seems to have more power too. It's not like so much that you're like, oh my God, I can't even hold on to this thing. But you can definitely tell there's a difference with the power and the torque. There is a difference, okay? In terms of driving them, you're going to drive them basically, it's basically the same way that you always driven them. When you get up on the cushion, you can absolutely feel it. At least I can. I think you can. If I get a little loose there, you can feel it. Now the car's a little loose right now. If I move the wing back a notch or two, the car stabilizes. Right? Notice how much the car wings over. That I think is going to actually be really, really important and cool, because if you remember, and anybody who's been in seen any of the videos, the training videos I've done on how to drive the wing sprint cars, whether you're master class, did the free master class we did, a year and a half ago, or even videos I've done here on YouTube, you'll hear me talk about opening up your entry, waiting and opening up your entry. And what that meant is basically when you were going to run the top, when the slick was really high, like you had to wait till the last second and really get up on the top. Like you had to be right next to that wall, like bury your right rear in the cushion. Now, you don't have to do that. Now, it's still fast. It's still good to do that, but you don't have to do that. If you turn in a little bit early, the way that this thing wings over and bites now, you're not just going to slide into the wall like you used to be. Like it used to be, if you turned too early, you would just slide up until you stopped when you smacked the wall with your rear end. That's not the case anymore. If you miss your line, right, even when you're up on the top, you can still get through it. And that's a really good thing. Also, the last tire model that we had, where you would when you would try to run the bottom or something, like you could hear the tires just spinning. You wouldn't be going anywhere, right? Even when you're in the tacky, you're still spinning the tires. It's like, what the hell's going on? Now the thing seems to have a lot more drive, a lot more bite in it, a lot more grip. Obviously, I'm running in the tacky right now. But even when you take it right through the slick, it definitely seems to have, the grip that we had, with the previous tire model, without the downside, though. And that seems to be the most important thing. All right. Like I said, I ran a race earlier. It was a really fun race. It's one of the most, it's some of the most fun I've had in the wing sprint car in a very long time. All right. For me, I really like where it's at right now. I think it's really good. Now, that being said, until we get out there and we do a lot of racing, we get, we're on the track with other drivers, the track wears in, and we're out there dicing up. Until we do, quite a bit of that, we're not going to know for sure where this thing truly is. What I can tell you right now from the stuff that I've done just today, all right, my initial impressions of it, I really like it. I don't think it was just a step in the right direction. I think it was a leap in the right direction. I really like it. I hated the fact of the stuff that we had to do before to get the thing to drive and hook up and stuff like that. I thought it was stupid. It used to just make me mad. I know that it's dumb to be like that. I really do. I know that it's like childish and just, you know, so insignificant to be upset about those things, but you know, having the background that I have and having worked on these things for years, to do those things just on the setups and stuff like that, and then to know that you're just out there flat footing it wide open, just, you know, I hated it, man. I didn't like it. It drove me nuts. And now you got to actually be up on the wheel. You got to be driving these things. You got to be working it. And they've got a lot more action to them. And like I said, they still got that feel, for me at least. I can still feel everything. And I really like it. I really do. I think iRacing did a phenomenal job, even though I know there's, like I said, there's going to be people out there who disagree. But that's, you know, that's just the way that it is. I mean, look at the dirt late models, for example. There are people out there who will tell you that those things are, it's like an arcade game, that it sucks, they're horrible. And then you'll have people who are real life late model drivers, and they'll say, actually, no, these are very much like real life, right? And I mean, in terms of, it's a sim, right? But it's very close to the real thing, right? Now, who's correct? Well, for each person, right, perception is their reality. How they perceive it, that's their reality. You know, the example I always use is my cousin, her husband is colorblind. To him, the sky is green, right? Like that's his reality. Okay? No matter what science says, no matter what, to him, his perception, right, is the sky's green. And so for different people, they might drive this car and they're like, man, I don't like this, it sucks. And it's unfortunate as that is, unfortunately, it's just the way that it is, you know, that's just how it is. And so hopefully more people will like them and think that it's an improvement, like I do, and you know, the people that I was with today. And hopefully it'll continue getting better. I don't think this is it. I think we can still see improvement, which is one of the great things about where iRacing is at right now. If you consider the fact, you look at the asphalt side of things, right? It's been around for a really long time, right? It's 2008, right? Like that's what they started with, right? Dirt's been around since 2017. Okay, you know, it's been 4 years, right? When you think about where we're at, okay, in just 4 years, it's incredible. Go play another dirt racing sim, right? I don't even know if you could call the other ones sims. They're games. Okay, I mean they're games. What we have on this platform in terms of dirt, in my opinion, I think it's second to none. For even with some of the flaws that it has, I think that it's incredible, and I really think that what they did to the sprint car, I really like it, and I think it was a huge improvement. So that's just my opinion, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? You know, what's another change that you'd like to see? I'm going to tell you right now, I would actually, now that I think they've got the sprint cars, you know, I think they've got all of the dirt cars kind of on a pretty firm footing in terms of the physics and the tires and stuff. I would like to see improvements to the track now. That's really what I would like to see next. But anyways, you guys, that's going to do it all for this video. Now, really quick before I go, do me a favor, please. If you like this, let me know. Leave a, you know, hit the like button, right? Hit that like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. Make sure you subscribe. And the reason why you want to subscribe is this. We are getting close to 5,000 subscribers here on the channel, which is just incredible, man. Had you told me at the beginning of 2020 that I would be sim racing for a living, right, that this would be my job, this would be, and it's the only thing I do. Sim racing is now the only thing I do. The SSR is my profession. Had you told me that this would be my profession and I'd have a YouTube channel, almost 5,000 people and a business and stuff like that, I'd have told you were nuts. And so the fact that we have this is incredible. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a giveaway here on the YouTube channel for SSR. I'm going to be giving away a bunch of different things. We're going to be giving away, you know, insider subscription, stuff like that. I'm also going to be giving away a couple of my Motec workbooks. Understand, I don't even sell these things, and I'm going to be giving away 2 of them. I'm going to be giving away an asphalt one and a dirt one. Okay. We're also going to be doing going to be doing a new sprint car Road to Pro in 2022, and I've actually got 2 pro drivers that are going to be part of that. They've already agreed to doing it with me, and it's not like they're going to be just showing up once every 2 weeks for the live streams. Like, they're going to be helping me create a lot of the content. We're going to be using their replays from the pro races and breaking things down and teaching all kinds of stuff. I'm going to be giving away a free spot in that. All right, so if you want to be a part of that, you've got to be subscribed to this channel. Okay, this next week on Monday, I'm going to be putting up the video doing the official announcement and stuff like that for the giveaway, and how long it's going to be running for, and how you can enter and all that stuff like that. But the first thing you're going to have to do is you got to be subscribed. Okay, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel for this, because like I said, that'll be the only way you can be a part of it. But anyways, you guys, that's going to do it. Thank you very much as always. Until next time, good luck, good racing, take care.